Novak Djokovic just wrote a $500,000 check. And he did not spend it on himself. He spent it on a 20-year-old from the Philippines who is already making the entire WTA establishment deeply uncomfortable. $500,000 dropped quietly. No press conference. No announcement. Just a decision, cold, calculated, and deliberate, from the greatest tennis mind of his generation. And the moment that money landed, everything changed. The WTA thought they understood Alexandra Eala. They gave her wild cards, smiled for cameras alongside her, applauded her breakthroughs. What they never prepared for was someone giving her the exact weapon she had always been missing, a fully funded, elite coaching structure that rivals those surrounding the world's top 5 players. Fully committed, fully unleashed. Where it all began: Mallorca, Spain. 2018, a 13-year-old arrives at the most prestigious private tennis academy on earth, the Rafa Nadal Academy. She carries a racket, a dream, and a work ethic that would eventually terrify champions twice her age. She came from Quezon City, Philippines, a country that had never produced a single WTA top 100 player in the entire 50-year history of professional women's tennis rankings. Not one. Not ever. Her name was Alexandra Eala, and almost nobody outside her family believed she belonged. But here is what the skeptics missed entirely. She was not arriving to learn how to play tennis. She had already mastered the foundation. She arrived to absorb an entirely different level of thinking, tactical architecture, physical conditioning that matched European standards, mental frameworks built by the same institution that had produced Rafael Nadal himself. She absorbed all of it, quietly, patiently, like someone who understood that the world would eventually be forced to pay attention. By 2020, at just 14 years old, she won the Australian Open Junior doubles title. Roland Garros Juniors followed the next year. Then, in 2022, she did something no Filipino had achieved in the sport's recorded history. She claimed the U.S. Open Junior Singles Championship. 3 Grand Slam titles before she was old enough to vote. 3 historic milestones covered by the Philippine national press with a fervor normally reserved for boxing legends. And yet professional tennis remained largely closed. Main draws were distant. Rankings meant grinding through ITF circuits, W100 events, and qualifying rounds at tournaments where the stakes were simultaneously enormous and invisible to casual audiences. She ground through all of it. Miami 2025. The detonation March 2025. Miami Open. A wild card invitation to a WTA 1000 event, the second largest category below Grand Slams. She was ranked 140th globally. The draw looked brutal. The task appeared impossible. She defeated Yelena Ostapenko. She defeated Madison Keys. She defeated Iga Swiatek, the world's dominant force, a 4-time Grand Slam champion. Back to back to back. 3 top 10 scalps across consecutive days. Sports journalists scrambled for historical comparisons and found almost nothing applicable. Overnight, she was not a prospect anymore. She was a phenomenon. By the close of 2025, she sat at world number 50, having begun that same calendar year ranked 143rd. Her own Instagram post that December captured it simply: "My dreams have come true. Everything that happened this season is a love letter to my family, friends, team, and of course to little Alex." But here is the uncomfortable truth sitting beneath all those celebrations. She accomplished every single one of those breakthroughs while being fundamentally underfunded compared to her rivals. No national federation backing on the scale of Spanish, American, or Belarusian programs. No corporate machine channeling millions into her daily preparation. Just a coach, a second assistant, raw talent, and extraordinary willpower. That imbalance was always going to become a ceiling, unless someone with vision and resources decided to act. The numbers behind the decision: by early 2026, Eala had already shattered every Filipino tennis record worth mentioning. World number 40 after Abu Dhabi. World number 31 after Dubai, where she defeated Jasmine Paolini, the reigning French Open champion, in a performance that left the tennis world genuinely breathless. World number 29 on March 16, 2026, the highest ranking ever achieved by any Filipino in WTA history. Her 2026 win-loss record stood at 12 victories against 7 defeats. Prize money totaling $381,644 in a season barely 3 months old. Quarterfinals or better at 6 consecutive WTA events spanning 11 months. And yet, behind closed doors, a different conversation was happening. Elite tennis coaching structures, the kind that Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, and Coco Gauff operate within, cost enormous money. A traveling primary coach, a dedicated data analyst for opponent scouting, an elite physiotherapist at every tournament, a strength and conditioning specialist focused on one athlete, mental performance coaching, nutritional management, logistics coordination across 40-plus weeks of global travel. When you calculate all of it, sustaining a top 10 infrastructure runs between $400,000 and $700,000 annually. Eala's prize money at her current ranking covered portions of that. Nike and other sponsorships contributed further, but the gap remained real, structural, and potentially damaging to her development ceiling. Novak Djokovic saw that gap. Why Djokovic's net worth sits at approximately $450 million. He co-manages a private equity fund focused on sports innovation and health technology alongside his wife Elena. His foundation has invested €15 million into education and youth development across Serbia and emerging nations. He has addressed the United Nations on behalf of global athletes. He partnered with the World Bank to promote youth development internationally. His entire post-playing identity is anchored around one principle: believe in their dreams. The $500,000 decision was not an impulse. It was the logical extension of a philosophy Djokovic has maintained for 15 years. The funding reportedly flows through a private sports development arrangement structured specifically to upgrade Eala's coaching infrastructure without disrupting her existing relationship with coach Joan Bosch or the Rafa Nadal Academy's broader network. The goal was not replacement. It was elevation, full-time data analytics, a dedicated physical preparation specialist, enhanced opponent breakdown sessions before every major tournament. The machinery that top 5 players treat as standard is now available to a 20-year-old from Quezon City for the first time in her career. When sources familiar with the arrangement described it simply as the WTA has no idea what's coming, they were not exaggerating. The coaching team now being supercharged to understand why this investment carries such extraordinary weight. You need to understand Joan Bosch. Bosch is not simply a competent coach who got fortunate connecting with a talented player. He is one of the most sophisticated tactical minds currently operating anywhere in professional tennis. He competed professionally during the 1990s, absorbing first-hand knowledge of tour-level demands before transitioning entirely into coaching. His most celebrated work came alongside Carlos Moya, the Spanish icon, former world number 1, and cornerstone of Spain's legendary 2004 Davis Cup victory. When the Rafa Nadal Academy opened in Manacor, Mallorca, Bosch became one of its senior coaches. The institution's coaching philosophy draws directly from Nadal's own competitive DNA: relentless physical preparation, tactical discipline, and an emotional resilience that treats adversity as fuel rather than obstacle. When Tony Nadal first flagged Eala's potential to Bosch, his response was immediate: "I trusted Alex from the beginning. She's a very intelligent person, very coachable, and everything goes well for her." Those words carry a weight recognizable only to those who understand how rarely Bosch distributes praise. Alongside Bosch stands Alejandro Vayan, known within the academy simply as Sandro, whose contribution focuses on physical preparation, game improvement mechanics, and tournament readiness. It was Vayan's preparation work during the Australian Open qualifying campaign that sharpened Eala's baseline consistency and physical endurance to levels capable of sustaining deep WTA 1000 runs. What Djokovic's financial injection now adds on top of this foundation is transformative, dedicated opponent analysis personnel whose singular job is breaking down serve patterns, movement tendencies, and psychological pressure points of upcoming opponents before Eala steps onto any significant court. The top 5 have operated with this level of preparation for years. Eala now does too. The WTA's complicated relationship with this story, there is a particular kind of discomfort that spreads through established sporting institutions when something genuinely unprecedented arrives. It rarely announces itself loudly. It surfaces instead in scheduling decisions, wildcard politics, broadcast allocation choices, and the careful language used by officials in press conferences when certain names arise. The WTA's relationship with Eala has been visibly complicated since Miami 2025. On one level, the tour benefits enormously from her existence. Her fan base, fiercely passionate, digitally mobilized, and overwhelmingly Filipino, represents one of the most commercially valuable audience segments in modern sport. Broadcasting partners across Southeast Asia reported viewing figure spikes that tournament directors described privately as extraordinary. The WTA responded by helping establish the Philippine Women's Open in Manila, celebrated publicly as a progressive development for Asian tennis. Behind that public relations narrative, however, the tournament also served a very specific commercial purpose, monetizing the Eala phenomenon within a controlled format while keeping her competing at a level slightly beneath the main WTA 500 and 1000 calendar structure. Because here is the dynamic nobody discusses openly. Until recently, Eala's financial backing was modest compared to the players she now consistently defeats. Scheduling patterns, wildcard invitation structures, seating decisions at events where her ranking technically merits different placement. These are all areas where insiders have quietly raised questions about whether the establishment's enthusiasm for her marketability fully matches their enthusiasm for her competitive ascent. Add Djokovic's $500,000 investment into that equation, and the calculus shifts completely. Eala no longer arrives at tournaments carrying the subtle disadvantage of inferior preparation resources. She arrives with the same depth of support as players ranked 20 spots above her. The margin that allowed established names to rely on superior infrastructure as a silent competitive edge, that margin is closing rapidly. Why this investment goes beyond tennis. Djokovic has spent the last decade constructing a legacy far more complex than Grand Slam titles. His foundation has poured 15 million euros into Serbian education, built 74 preschools, partnered with the World Bank, and shaped early childhood development policy in emerging nations. The motto "Believe in their dreams" is not marketing language. It is the philosophical thread running through every decision he makes with his resources and influence. Eala represents exactly the kind of investment his philosophy demands. A player from a developing tennis nation, trained at an institution whose values he understands and respects deeply, possessing genuine talent capable of reaching the sports summit, facing a structural disadvantage purely because of geography and national federation resources, rather than any deficit of ability or character. Beyond the philosophical alignment, there is strategic logic operating here. Djokovic has watched the sport's commercial center of gravity shift eastward throughout his entire career. Asian audiences are tennis's fastest-growing demographic. The sport's next generation of mainstream superstars will almost certainly emerge from non-traditional nations. A player who can authentically represent Southeast Asia at the very peak of women's tennis carries commercial and cultural significance that transcends any individual prize money figure. Djokovic also understands, with the particular clarity of someone who spent years navigating his own establishment battles, exactly what structural support means to a developing champion. His own early career required navigating skepticism, funding gaps, and institutional resistance before the sport fully accepted his greatness. He recognizes in Eala's situation something familiar: extraordinary talent encountering unnecessary friction from inadequate infrastructure. The $500,000 is not charity. It is a calculated, values-aligned, strategically sophisticated investment in the future of global tennis. And characteristically, Djokovic made it without seeking a single headline. What comes next? Alexandra Eala began 2025 ranked 143rd in the world. She closed March 2026 at world number 29, the highest position any Filipino has ever occupied in professional tennis. She defeated Grand Slam champions on the way there. She built a fan base that reshaped an entire tour's Asian commercial strategy. And now, with Djokovic's $500,000 investment supercharging the coaching infrastructure around her, The final barrier separating her from the sport's absolute summit is not talent. It never was.